The day in Harrington began with the kind of tranquility that belied the storm brewing beneath its surface. The sun blazed mercilessly over the sleepy streets as officers Tom Gallagher and Mike Pearson patrolled in their squad car. The rumble of the engine was a constant hum, almost soothing in its monotony. Gallagher and Pearson were well-known figures in Harrington, not for their adherence to the law, but for their habitual overreach. Both had earned a reputation for their discriminatory practices, particularly towards the black community. They justified their actions as cleaning up the streets, but their so-called patrols were little more than thinly veiled acts of racial profiling. As they turned onto Elm Street, Gallagher's eyes landed on a striking figure, a black man standing next to a sleek black sedan, tall and impeccably dressed in a gray suit, his tie perfectly knotted. The man seemed almost out of place in this small town. He was engrossed in his phone, his demeanor calm and composed. Pearson squinted through the windshield. That guy looks like he's up to something. Gallagher's gaze was steely as he assessed the situation. Yeah, let's have a word with him. You know the type. The squad car screeched to a halt, the tires leaving black marks on the pavement as Gallagher yanked the wheel. The flashing lights cast an eerie glow, turning the quiet morning into an ominous scene. The two officers emerged from the vehicle, their faces set in arrogant smirks. "Hey!" Pearson barked, his voice laden with unwarranted authority. "What are you doing around here?" The man looked up from his phone, his calm expression unshaken by the aggressive approach. "Just passing through, officers. Is there a problem?" Gallagher stepped closer, his hand resting on his belt in an attempt to intimidate. "Where are you headed?" The man's response was calm and collected. "I don't see how that's any of your business." Gallagher's smirk faltered. His frustration was palpable. "Listen, pal, you don't talk to us like that. Now show us some ID." The man's eyes narrowed, but he complied, retrieving a sleek black card from his pocket. Gallagher took the card but didn't bother to read it thoroughly. He slipped it into his pocket and gestured towards the man's car. "That's enough. Let's search the vehicle." The man's patience was wearing thin, but he remained composed. "There's no probable cause for this. What you're doing is illegal." Pearson rolled his eyes dismissively. "Probable cause is whatever we say it is." Within minutes, Gallagher had the man pushed against the hood of the squad car, his wrists secured in handcuffs. The man's eyes, dark and intense, burned with an unspoken fury as he watched Gallagher and Pearson. His silence spoke volumes, the tension in the air thickening with every passing second. "Now that we've got him," Pearson said with a forced grin, "let's check the trunk. Bet we'll find something interesting." Pearson yanked open the trunk with unnecessary force, revealing a neatly folded suit jacket. Gallagher, meanwhile, fumbled with the man's ID. His eyes widened as he read the card more carefully. FBI Special Agent David Carter. Gallagher's face went pale, his mouth opening in disbelief. Mike." Pearson, still sorting through the trunk, looked up. "What?" Gallagher's voice was barely a whisper. "Look at this." Pearson moved closer, his expression turning from confusion to panic as he read the ID. "Oh God, we didn't know. What do we do now?" Agent Carter's gaze remained cold and unyielding. The quiet that followed was almost deafening, the weight of the situation settling heavily over the officers. Pearson's hands shook as he tried to salvage the situation. "We can just let him go, right? No harm done." Carter's tone was ice cold. "You think it's that simple? You've committed serious offenses. Unlawful arrest, racial profiling, the list goes on." Gallagher, desperate to regain control, stammered. "Listen, man." "We didn't mean." Carter cut him off sharply. "Don't call me man. You made your choice when you decided to abuse your power. There's no talking your way out of this." Carter, still in handcuffs, raised his hands to his mouth and spoke into his wristwatch. "Control, this is Agent Carter. I need immediate backup at my location. Code 3. Gallagher's heart raced, the dread in his chest almost suffocating. "You're calling for backup?" Carter's gaze was unrelenting. "What did you expect? You've crossed a line that can't be undone. The distant wail of sirens grew louder, cutting through the morning stillness. The sound of multiple federal vehicles approaching was like the herald of an impending storm. Gallagher and Pearson exchanged looks of sheer panic, realizing the gravity of their actions. Within minutes, the street was flooded with flashing lights and the imposing presence of federal agents clad in tactical gear. They moved with purpose, their expressions serious as they surveyed the scene. Gallagher and Pearson stood immobilized, their power stripped away in the face of federal authority. One of the agents, a tall woman with sharp features, approached Carter. She nodded respectfully. "You okay, sir?" Carter nodded back. "Get these cuffs off me." The agent moved quickly, unlocking Carter's handcuffs with efficient precision. Gallagher and Pearson watched, their faces etched with fear and regret. Carter rubbed his wrists, his gaze fixed on them with a mixture of disdain and determination. "You'll both be hearing from the Justice Department," Carter said, his voice low and filled with menace. "And don't think for a second that your badges will shield you from the consequences." Gallagher's face contorted in desperation. We made a mistake. Can't we just make this go away?" Carter's lips curled into a cold smirk. "No, this doesn't go away. You made sure of that." As Carter turned and walked towards his colleagues, leaving Gallagher and Pearson in the shadow of their own failings, the full weight of their actions sank in. Federal agents began their work, collecting evidence, taking statements, and documenting the scene with meticulous care. Gallagher and Pearson could only stand by, powerless, as the reality of their reckless behavior was laid bare. If you're enjoying this tense and dramatic tale, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Share the story with friends and stay tuned for more thrilling and thought-provoking narratives. In the days that followed, the consequences of Gallagher and Pearson's actions unfolded with unforgiving clarity. The Justice Department launched a thorough investigation into their conduct. The community of Harrington, already disillusioned with the local police, watched with bated breath as the story made headlines. Protests erupted, demanding justice and accountability. The case against Gallagher and Pearson was pursued with relentless vigor. Gallagher and Pearson faced charges of unlawful arrest, racial profiling, and abuse of power. Their once unassailable positions were now in jeopardy, and their careers hung in the balance. The court proceedings were a spectacle of legal drama and public scrutiny. The community's demand for equity and fairness echoed through the halls of justice, a powerful reminder of the need for reform. The trial was a sobering reminder of the importance of accountability. Gallagher and Pearson's actions served as a stark illustration of the systemic issues that plague law enforcement. The verdict delivered was a resounding call for change, emphasizing the need for policies that ensure fairness and equity in policing. As the dust settled, the story of Gallagher and Pearson became a cautionary tale. Their arrogance and disregard for justice had not only jeopardized their own futures, but had also exposed the urgent need for reform within the system. Their downfall highlighted the critical importance of integrity, accountability, and the relentless pursuit of fairness. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you found this story compelling, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping tales and thought-provoking narratives. Your support helps us bring these stories to life.